Sup, Joe? Logical conclusion of anime reviews. I watched 3 episodes of many fall shows and going to give my thoughts on each. This is the first season since fall 2014. I have watched 10 plus shows. So before I get started, I'd like to make an observation. The animation has noticeably improved, especially with the CG and hand-drawn animation blending together more fluidly. So let's begin. First up, Black Clover. A Wizard King defeated the demons many years ago. Now the Wizard King title is reserved for the most powerful wizard. Asta and Yuno are orphans who grow up together at a church. They both dream of becoming the Wizard King. Yuno is a prodigy wizard, and Asta struggles with magic. Black Clover is a Shonen Jump manga. My Hero Academia has been a roaring success, so there has been some high expectations for this series. So far, it's been a disappointment. The voice actor for the main character, Asta, screams all his lines and has an annoying voice. The other problem is the series kind of feels like it's not trying. There is the famous saying attributed to Pablo Picasso, good artist copy, great artist steal, and I put Black Clover firmly in the good artist category. Asta wants to be the Wizard King, like the Hokage. There was a Harry Potter sorting hat scene where everyone gets a Clover book. No one except who is Asta's adopted brother, believes in him. The thing that is annoying about this is the one thing that happened is Asta beats a strong guy who was trying to steal from with his special book and sword. So after he had done that, why don't people who didn't believe in him before believe in him now after he beats a tough wizard? No, they still don't believe in him. In the Wizard's Night exam, when they introduce it, they're pretty much like, the Hunter exam and the Chunin exam? It's like that. We have been fed a bunch of flashbacks so far, but they seem unnecessary because and Asta have similar relationships now than they did in the flashbacks. So what are we learning from them? That said, I'm probably going to watch the entire first core, or at least until I tap out. I'm a bit of a shonen tard, so who knows, maybe the Wizard Night exams will be interesting. Would not recommend to non-shonen tards.
Junni Taisen Zodiac War. The plot is a battle to death between warriors, with the winner getting to make one wish. There is a time limit of 1 day to kill the other competitors. The show is told in a Death Note, first-person way, and through flashbacks. We learn all the character's strategy he will use to win, and what he thinks about the events that are happening. The backstories have been cute girls being cutthroat murderous assassins so far. Each character has their own special abilities. It's based on a Niso Ishin novel, and his obsession with the word genius continues. It's a death game where the assassins actually want to kill each other, and do. Its setting is actually cool as well, an abandoned downtown of a big city. The show has a lot of gore for modern anime. So far, I would say it's better than Phase Zero. Also, if you are a Niso Ishin hater, though it does have some of his trappings talking about geniuses, the recurring character is a girl with the most perfect character imaginable. It is also different enough from his other works and impressively embraces the death battle. Episode 4, we had our first philosophical, psychological debate. I'm hoping these are to a minimum and they focus more on the fights. Asuma's game, the animation, or King's Game. So a King's Game is basically a truth or dare, but there is no truth. And if you don't do the dare, there is a punishment. So what happens is everyone in high school is forced to participate in this King's Game. And it's like they don't believe it's real, but it is. One of those horror movies, kind of, where the characters are stuck in this murderous game and they all freak out and turn on each other instead of working together to beat the game and all survive. Here are the problems. The game just starts. No glitz or glamour. There's no finding a chest in an abandoned cabin or someone's attic and opening it and reading the warning. No getting a strange email and going to a strange website and agreeing to start the game. The game just starts. The thing that is different is one of the players, aka the main character, already played King's Game before, so he knows it's for real. But it's not like he's good at it or anything. He messes up really bad in the first episode. We are flashback to death. So you would think following this messed up King's Game would be enough for us. But no, we have to learn about what happened in the original King's Game too, which has taken up just as much time as what has been given to the current King's Game.
There is a really crazy heel turn that makes no sense. All the King's Game challenges are like, go have sex with that guy's girlfriend and stuff like that. Here's the thing, I'm no Puritan. If there was some sort of edgy as heck horror death game thing, I could easily see myself liking it. But this show is just incomprehensible. It might have some so bad it's good quality to it. There's a really funny death in episode 3, so if you have a buddy to watch it with and make fun of it, then maybe give it a try. But good God, don't watch this by yourself. Recovery of an MMO junkie. It's about a girl who likes playing MMO games who runs into this pretty boy guy in real life. She talks to these people on the MMO game in kind of like a train man way, and they encourage her to pursue a relationship with a guy she likes. What makes Train Man cool is 2chan is kind of this pit of losers, and the Train Man was like a couple degrees below a hopeless loser. So it's an uplifting story to see the Train Man develop a relationship with a girl. First of all, he needed the help. He had no idea how to talk to girls or like dress or anything. So the people talking to him on 2chan are really helping him. And you see all these losers on 2chan band together to help the Train Man is kind of an uplifting story of teamwork and helping out the underdog. In Recovery of an MMO Junkie, she is a decently attractive girl. So like, go to the hair salon and have your aunt set you up with a banker she knows. Point is, she's not that big of a loser that she needs advice from randos on the internet. The actual game looks lame as heck. You dress up in generic fantasy game clothing and they talk to each other about boring stuff. Like, at least 2chan stands for anarchy as a community. A generic boring fantasy game doesn't stand for anything. This show has no bite to it at all. There's not a romantic rival or anything like that. One of the shows that makes me feel bad for the people that it appeals to.
Urahara is a magical girl show and a slice of life show, but with younger than average characters. The color backgrounds are all bright and colorful, kind of like the backgrounds from the magical world in Yuku Yuna's Hero, but less abstract. The monsters look like the plants from Super Mario. They also have these DBZ scouters they get when they are fighting the monsters. Another thing about this show was the cinematography was all over the place. It had split screens, a lot of close-ups. They didn't give a shit about the 180-degree rule or anything like that. The show has poorly explained mechanics and exposition. It's just all of a sudden the world is attacked by Super Mario plant creatures and the girls aren't that scared by it. I want a more well-realized world than this show delivers. Plus, the main girls are too young, and although they're kind of cute, to get me to enjoy a show about 8-year-old girls seems like a tough task. Their problems are presented in a too mo of a way for me to relate to it all. The main problem is just the show lacks any realism, and realism is very important to me.
Kino journey. Kino and her talking motorcycle Hermes go to different city-states to observe how they are administered. Then some dramatic thing happens and Kino is forced into action. I've never watched the original, but so far I've been surprised with how violent it's been. The impression I got of Kino's journey was it was more of a slice of life. But what it is Kino goes to these different societies and it makes some sort of social commentary about communities and government. With episodes being kind of so placed in one society per episode, it feels a bit shallow in its social and political commentary. I'd rather see the city-states be critiques of capitalism or communism or nationalism or liberalism. You know, something more relevant and hard-hitting. Instead, the critiques are more, well, isn't it bad to have gladiator tournaments? I don't really like the talking motorcycle. I'd rather Kino have a living partner. It's pretty watchable though. Code Realize. The plot is about a girl who is made of poison so no one can touch her. She is somehow the key to something. The government wants to have her to do evil, but the genital thief Arsene Lupin kidnaps her and has her stay in his mansion with 3 other guys. Episode 2 and 3, she meets more guys to add to their team to take down the evil Twilight government group. It has cool world building with it being a steampunk England aesthetic. Also, the group does feel like a team. The characters have chemistry between them, and they are trying to bring down this evil government organization. Lupin and Van Helsing especially have cool presence to their characters. On the negatives, it's a bit slow, which is in a way a good thing, because it allows characters time to bond.
I think its worst quality is it's a bit too obvious at being an otome game adaptation. This girl is surrounded by 6 good-looking single guys that all want to do her but are really nice about it. They also don't really explain the plot that much. It's just pretty much the bad Twilights are evil and their gang are the good guys. It's pretty decent though. A Sister is All You Need. This is about a moderately successful sister-con writer and his life writing sister-con. He has 2 love interests and another friend who is a writer, and his little brother is also on the show. The show goes rather far with the sexual content, which is good. One of the love interests is always like, I want your dick, to the main character who turns her down constantly. So their exchanges are usually kind of fun. The show also has a bit of realism to it. The characters kind of behave like real people a bit and not just archetypes. It's not that tightly written, and it also kind of confusing how successful of a sister-con novelist he is. The plot of episode 3 is he goes on a 2-week-long vacations. So like, if he is moderately successful but still struggling artist, how could he afford to go on 2-week-long vacations? Its point is rather vague. I like that there is only 2 girls in his harem so far. If they start adding a bunch of girls, I will be disappointed. I think the show kind of has a point, even though it's not that clear at the moment. I would like it if the show was more tightly written and more plot-centric, because I do think the main character has an interesting world, but I think the narrative needs more direct approach to realize this. Girls' Last Tour. It's about 2 prepubescent girls traveling around a post-apocalyptic world on their vehicle. There is a smart one and a dumb one, and they have slow-paced little adventures. This show is like a 10 out of 10 in how it executes its idea. The background looks great, like these huge abandoned buildings or these huge barren battlefields. It really makes you believe, yes, this is a post-apocalyptic wasteland. And the vastness of the world makes you feel the adventure just beyond the reach. What will these girls discover next? Who will they meet? The 2 characters have a fun, innocent chemistry to watch. Episode 1 in particular was masterclass in how it executes its drama. It's like a simple episode. They discover this abandoned ship, they're slowly exploring the ship, and it's all very slow paced and interesting. But suddenly there is a confrontation at the end of the episode where, it being the first episode, you are like, oh shit, that escalated quickly. What's going to happen now? And it's an awesome moment of drama. What the non-fun part of me doesn't like about the show is, could 2 prepubescent girls really survive traveling by themselves in the post-apocalypse? I would like a bit more exposition than we are getting. Though episode 3 was the most exposition filled, and it does seem like we are going to learn more about the world. Dies Irae. So there is a main character and 2 girls. One he lives with and one is a nun. Then there are these evil people led by a Nazi with special powers. I assume he's going to get special powers and fight them at some point. Honestly, so far it's kind of tough to follow. I like the prequel episode because it has a real Nazi, Reinhard Heydrich, and some interesting world building. But then the actual series doesn't take place in the world of the first episode. I just haven't quite figured out what's going on, but it could be interesting, I guess. At one point, the main character took a picture of one of the heroine's panties, so that was kind of fun. Evil or Live. It's about a re-education facility for teenagers with internet addiction. The facility is run like a prison. The plot is full of prison movie tropes, except with co-ed teenagers. That's a promising scenario if there ever was one. I have been really surprised with how good it's been, certainly better than its mal rating. This series really goes for it all. The warden is showing a lot of cleavage. The lead instructor is this ripped guy with a goatee who just brutally beats the shit out of the new students. A student agrees to have sex in exchange for access to a cell phone. There is a smart prisoner who somehow doesn't live by the normal rules of the other prisoners. So far, the series really executes their idea of a co-ed prison for internet addicts. Only thing is, there isn't really a firm plot yet, with episode 3 being kind of uneventful after the opening scene. I hope it develops a tight plot because I think the show has a great setting. The Ancient Magus Bride. About a girl who auctions herself off as a slave only to be bought by a mage with a ram's head who says he wants to train her as a mage and marry her.
The show does a good job of delivering on the fantasy of the love the Ram's magician shows the lead girl. At the beginning of the series, she must be really down on herself because she sold herself into slavery. However, this big magician tells her she is special and wants to marry her. The show really makes you feel how uplifting this is to her and how much wonder and adventure this new life gives her. But also she kind of earned it because she legit does have some special magic powers. Yes, I do want a big powerful Ram's magician to save me from evil fairies and majestically carry me through the woods with strong arms, with only the moonlight showing the way. Overall, the detail and world building is great. So far, it's been kind of introducing us to the world, which has been good. If it develops more of a plot, that would be good too. Children of the Whale. There is this moving island that our main character lives on with the rest of his society. One day, they come upon a deserted island where they find the girl. Then everything changes. Also, everyone has some sort of telekinesis superpower, and most people die by the time they are 30, except a few. This is like a Plato's Cave thing mixed with like an anime thing, but it takes itself completely seriously. Here's my thing with all Plato's Cave like stories. This group of elders has been lying to the main character about the whole Whale Island place his whole life. He goes to the island and he finds this girl when he has been told they were the last of the human race. But then, why does he immediately distrust his village elders? These people have been getting this lie their entire life, but main character immediately believes in the truth when he sees it. What I want to see in one of these Plato's Cave stories is have main character deny the truth and believe the elders. Always find some logic where the elder's story is right. Anyway, episode 3 in this anime was really badly done. It was supposed to be a raid, but everyone is standing around like talking to each other when the raid is going on, instead of running and hiding. I'm going to give this one a too early to tell rating because it has some interesting ideas and some cool character designs, but it also has some cliche things and awkwardness. The Land of the Lustrous. So there is these girls that are made of gems and they live in this temple. Then they walk outside the temple and fight these Razifan-esque monsters, except with more chariots than Razifan. This was really unique to say the least. I know Steven Universe has something to do with gems and it has a bit of magical girl show to it, but I haven't watched Steven Universe and only watched the Madoka and a bit of Yuki Yuna as hero. My point is I haven't really watched anything like this. However, I wasn't that engaged with the plot. I didn't really get what the hell was going on. But what I thought was cool about the show was the animation and directing. It's from the director who did Love Live School Idol Rage Project, and it mixes CGI and normal animation great for a small budget. When you watch aged or especially older CGI shows like Kingdom, the characters move really weird a lot of times, and you notice it. However, this director does a lot of zooming in and zooming out and panning up and panning down. I think this is done to hide the awkwardness of the CGI, and it does so quite effectively. Blend S. A young girl is really into foreign culture. She wants money to travel abroad. She gets a job at a cafe where the waitresses each play a character. Her and the owner of the cafe develop romantic chemistry. This show is one of those anime where there is constant gags and everyone is an archetype caricature instead of a character with depth. In other words, the comic relief from One Piece. I would give this show a couple of things though. The main character looks adorable in her waitress uniform. Both the main character and the love interest are both really interested in each other, so there isn't much how do I get senpai to notice me, but there's a little of that. The episode plots aren't that tight. It's more like 10-minute gags, kind of like Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, except Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is much more melodramatic. This show does have some charm to it though. Garo Vanishing Line. The Makan Knights are a group of secret superpower knights that have the ability to transform into a knight with shiny armor. They fight horrors, which are like demons that possess people to do evil. This version is in a modern city. It's similar to the old Garo I watched, where there is a smart Han Solo type knight and a tsundere knight. That dynamic was really fun. The Han Solo knight is the main character so far in this version, That is an improvement over the first Garo because the Sunday was the main character in the first Garo. We have already been introduced to the seductress Make Alchemist. Her episode was incredible. She had to make out with this guy to get his DNA to open a lock. I'm loving this urban environment for the show. They even have this cool Space Dandy-esque diner they go hang out in between missions. All the character designs, including a motorcycle, so far have looked detailed, unique, and cool. The fight scenes in this show have been incredible as well. They incorporate CGI and normal animation so that it blends together.
Inuyashiki. An old man and a teenager get transformed into indestructible, all-powerful robots by aliens. They choose to use this power in different ways. Inuyashiki is based on a manga that the mangaka also did Gantz. I remember Gantz more highly than I actually rated it at the time. Gantz had an interesting tone with delivering its violence in a nihilistic yet emotionally powerful way, as opposed to being more cartoony like most shows deliver their violence. This show is the same way. There's a lot of tension, really emphasizing the evil and cold bloodiness in the violence in the show. It's almost like No Country for Old Men with all the tension in the scene so far. The show even has memorable one-liners and badass moments. The mix of CG and normal animation looks really cool. One of the characters is learning his newfound powers, and he fights this amazing fight versus punks in episode 3. He doesn't want to let the people see he is a robot, and he's still learning how to fight, so he fights really awkward, and the animation executes this concept perfectly.
Okay, that's all I've watched. My top picks would be Inuyashiki, Garo Vanishing Line, and Girls Last Tour. Please like, comment, and subscribe.